Drummond and Son. Drummond opened the shop every morning at 7, so he and his boy would eat breakfast while the first drop-offs were coming in. The front of the store was a showroom for refurbished machines displayed on shelves, each with a fresh sheet of white band rolled into the platen, while the back was a chaos of wrinkled typewriters. Drummond would either salvage or cannibalize for parts someday. Drummond's business shifted in small ways and remained profitably intact. He had a steady stream of customers, some loyally held over from the old days, some new. Drummond was a good mechanic, and word spread among an emerging breed of hobbyists. His business had become more sociable as a growing tribe of holdouts banded together. He now kept a coffee urn and a stack of styrofoam cups next to the register for the customers who liked to hang out. Drummond tore down the old Olivetti. While he worked, he could hear his son laughing to himself. Ha 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 ha. What's so funny? Drummond asked. Nothing, the boy said. You always say nothing, but you keep on laughing. I'd sure like to know for once what you find so funny all the time, Drummond said. The boy's face hadn't been moved by a real smile in years, and he never cried. On the short drive there, Petey had sat slumped in his seat, staring out the rain-swept gray city, laughing. He 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 he. What are you laughing at? Drummond had asked. Nothing, boy replied. Drummond praised the boy on such a momentous day. The laughing had got to him. Tell me, Drummond said impatiently. I just start to laugh when I say something sad, Petey had said. You think it's funny? Drummond asked. I don't think I find it funny, but I laugh anyway, Petey answered, gently twisting the tea with a pair of beetle-nose pliers. They'll never sit right in the guides, even if I could straighten them out. You see that? He returned in his stall and showed the boy had shown him a ago. Not with the precision you want anyway. A good typewriter needs to work like a watch, Drummond said. The boy couldn't carry his end of a conversation, not even with nods of interest. His moods were a kind of unsettled weather or become by an overcasting silence. A rosary of maroon beads dangled between the boy's legs, faintly ticking. As he rocked in his recliner, a silent prayer moves his lips. Jesus Christ! Was Brian dead? Petey said. That's what I've been thinking lately. Sometimes your illness tells you things, Petey. You know that, Drummond said. The boy's hand was cracked and bleeding. You need some lotion? You like that Vaseline, don't you? Drummond asked. The boy didn't answer. You know I worry, especially when I talk about God, Drummond said. You believe? I do, Drummond said. Although of late he wasn't sure that was true. But's different. There's only one true God, Petey said. I was thinking of writing a sympathy to prove it. Today is going to be a little different from a normal. You're having a visitor. She's a nice lady and she wants to ask you some questions, Drummond said. Drummond had been expecting a rendition of his wife, but the woman who walked in the door shortly after noon was nothing like Teresa. She couldn't have been much older than Petey. So, Peter, I'm from Kingston, a happy house in Fremont. Do you have any friends? The social worker asked. No one you see on a regular basis? When I talked to your father, he said you were in a day program several years ago. Did you enjoy that? Lady asked. It was okay, Petey answered. Why did you stop going? Lady asked. I think I'll go outside, Petey said. No, stay here and talk to the lady. She only have a few questions and then we're done, Drummond said. Petey stayed in the showroom with the lady and continues what they'd asked from him. Drummond excused himself to entertain their customers. After a while, Drummond returned to his son and the social worker. If I let God take my brain, I'll be laughing. I'd know where I was going, Petey said. Where will you be going? She asked. I'll be going down. I'm trying to figure my brain. What it wants me to do. I think to go down, but I can't figure out what's good for me. It's too much for me, Petey said. I think I just want to be a son, not a god. I had to go to the bathroom. The boy vanished into the back of the shop. Is that typical? That kind of talk? Lady asked. Yeah. Half the words he needed to describe his son, he couldn't spell, and all of them sounded as fantastic and as far away as the Mosaic monsters he had loved so much as a child. Drummond saw that his growing need for help was exactly the thing that disqualified him from getting help from this woman. Things don't really bother me, he said vaguely. Because I understand him, you see. After a while, they walked about a block from the shop. As they were crossing Bill Street, the boy knelt down in the intersection. He took up a storybook prayer poster, bent on both knees, his hands folded together in the shape of a candle flame, and his head solemnly bowed with his lips touching the tips of his finger. All things happened repeatedly when the boy again fell to the sidewalk, again forcing himself and praying. Drummond knelt down with his son, implored him to get up. But the boy was a heavy dead weight. He lugged him across the sidewalk, heaving him a few feet at a time, until they made it safely to the shop door. After a while, Petey began helping his father. Drummond was nearly done with the Olivetti. He found the nameplate he needed, Olivetti Literal 32. He called the bookstore and told the kid that he was closing shop but his typewriter was ready. After a while, Drummond and boy boarded the bus and took their usual seats on the bench in back. After the past few months, he and boy had settled into a routine. The life of Petey was raised by faith in God and the love from his father. "I love you," Drummond said, expecting the boy to laugh, but he only rested his head against the seat and looked out the window at the gray city going by. The end.